Oh yeah, what's happening? Back to this transhumanistic train of thought and these little connections here, how it's been broadcasted to us. Um, it's like it's like basically if you plug yourself into the Borg and they can blast the Borg off into space in a way it's a counterfeit salvation, immortality. Because, I mean, let's think of it this way. Let's say they did get a probe off into space or a space station. What's to say a star don't explode and just destroy the whole galaxy at some point? That's the end of the world. So, even if they escape the Earth's judgment and they get off into space, that doesn't mean they're going to still get away. So, or even if they, let's say they turn the Earth into the Death Star, like, then all you need to do is drop an EMP on it and bam, the whole thing's useless. You know what I'm saying? So their whole merge with the machine is their cybernetic organisms amongst us already, is what I was saying. And we do have beings of light masquerading already too, because we watched them beam holograms of Michael Jackson and Tupac together. And I mean, today I was thinking this too. It was like with Project Bluebeam. Basically, Project Bluebeam. You ever been to the drive-in? Imagine they turn the clouds, the sky itself, into the drive-in, basically. And this was shown in the Hunger Games that they were going to create a dome on top of us. And with all this flat Earth shizzle, it's kind of strange. At least the dome part about it. It seems like they are trying to do that. That's what it looks like when you observe the chemtrail phenomena. I went back and looked at my frequency effects and chemtrail Bluebeam Messiah video. And, I mean, yeah, man, they have the capabilities to do something in the sky, man, for sure. So Project Bluebeam's legit. And if they're already showing you, I think it was at the Grammys where Lady Gaga was talking about basically transcending and becoming digitalized. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, basically that's it. Digitalized. Because think about it. If the machine, you submit yourself over to the beast and then be absorbed by it, it's basically is the Borg. The Borg is a good analogy of it. Basically, they take the best of you and the rest gets shoved in the memory hole and you come back mechanized. And the Matrix is also a good analogy. Like I said, the Spider-Man, black Spider-Man suit, black goo, and is Morgellons a part of this? Where they're saying that the chemtrails they're metal. They look like blood cells, but they're made out of metal. So I mean that's iron and clay. Because if it's made in the image of a human blood cell to trick the blood cells inside of the blood once they're absorbed into the body, and then you get a bunch of them, say they're self-replicating, which like cells are, and they can be remotely operated from frequencies like Wi-Fi and satellites and other sources like the new cell towers up everywhere, the Terminator Tesla towers, the Skynet towers. That's where I was going with this too. Terminator 2, the silver guy like Mercury who could shapeshift. Arnold Schwarzenegger just looked like a human. Then they had the other guy who was Terminator components, but human heart, human mind, and memories. He actually thought he was still human. He didn't know he was a robot. Now, in the last one, they called John Connor, who we thought was going to save humanity. He becomes the destroyer, the Antichrist, basically. And he is a nanoparticulide black goo nano machine, just like Virtuosity with Denzel and Russell Crowe. That was made in the 90s. So, I mean, they've been planning and engineering this for quite some time. And with the Bluebeam effect coupled in with Terminators, it's like they live, alright? Imagine if there is people and there's a conspiracy, like, say, pod people, they replace people, and they inject their people, say, that into hospitals, so everyone working in the hospital is cybernetically altered or modified, and so they won't never spill the beans about that. There really is two types of human beings right now. The human born, regular born, and then the tube kids. And that movie, man, what was the name of that movie? Blade Runner had a similar theme to this, where these hybrid humans, like cloned. And here's the thing, Egypt, all right? Why did they go through such lengths to preserve the bodies? It was almost like there was a time traveler who went back and leaked it out. Look, preserve these bodies because they knew in the future they would be able to extract out the DNA. You know what I'm saying? All they need to do is just get the right stuff, and they can extract the DNA, and now they could test tube of humans. So that is supernatural foresight there, and that is an antichrist type agenda. And then they also say that Nimrod was found. Nimrod is Baal, and remember this: Isis is Baal's wife, Nimrod's wife, Osiris's wife, Ashtoreth, the goddess or the queen of heaven, the goddess of heaven, Liberty, Columbia. These are all the same people here. So they got Baal temples going up, and ISIS is our terror threat. So it's letting you know, why are you throwing up the husband imagery when these dudes are over here rocking the wife imagery? You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. And once again, they also call John Connor in the newer Terminator movie, they call him a prophet. Some call him a prophet. And they the religion who really all they have is a prophet is the Muslims as well. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of strange because they revere their prophets. They don't have a real Messiah that's ever came. And the God Allah isn't our Father in heaven. It's a different God. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Baal, basically. Baal and Isis, the female bare-chested fertility goddess with the phallus, Osiris, the phallus worship, Washington Monument, reflecting pool type. This all that mumbo jumbo is based on all that too. But once again, even that itself is based on some kind of ritual to become immortal. You know what I'm saying? Or to become an immortal or transmogrified. So there's a lot of Nimrod supposedly he wasn't born. He over time he became something. You know what I'm saying? It's like he was your first mutant, basically, in a way. Like he became a giant in the earth, and a mighty man, and a man of renown, and the first basically emperor of the earth. And he was an emperor by force, basically. And here's the thing. What's to say they haven't already cloned Nimrod, and he doesn't already walk on the earth already, a clone. And I seen a good scariest movie ever video about how they say that actors are, if they start getting too sloppy, they get whacked and replaced with a more subservient clone. And I actually heard someone talking about The Island, the movie that's about clones. Like basically, as part of your insurance plan, you have a clone made. So at some point, if you get sick, you go whack the clone, take his organs. And I mean, that's a big thing now too, dude. Like, literally, dude, your organs are worth more money than you are. So, and China will take it in organs. And so will other countries. I mean, it's nasty. And, you know, eventually the machines will be doing that to us. Just like on the Matrix. And then sticking us inside little pods and stealing our energies. It's really crazy, man, and that's why I call that agenda the transhumanistic, technocratic. But when the technocrats create a system that actually revolts on it and takes them over, you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like the war on Olympus. You know, they're always fighting against their children, and the fathers are fighting against them. In a sense, the machine is a creation of man. So in a way, man will be a god to the machine, and then just like man has rebelled against God, the machine will take us over, and it will become Satan incarnate. Because, I mean, basically, it's just like on Virtuosity, where this computer algorithm took all the traits of all these killers and combined them into a profile, and then they basically printed, I think there's something called a nano printer or something like that, dude, where they basically just print stuff with the dang laser computer. And I forgot what it's called, man, but it's like basically this is real shit, where they can download you into the computer and then download you somewhere else. And it is Beam Me Up, Scotty, in a way, but like I said, no, it'll be more like you'll be stored in the hive, in the Borg. And eventually what it could be is we'll all be microchipped. There'll be holograms everywhere. There'll be beaming voices directly into our mind. It will be a brave new 1984 society. And it's like anywhere we go, like Cortana will pop up and talk to us, but really that will be our like idol that comes to life and speaks. That the Revelations talks about the beast system that everyone will, the image that everyone worship. Well, what is a hologram? It's just an image of, it's Wizard of Oz in a way. And Project Bluebeam is tied into this. That's what they wanted to do, is fake a Messiah type event, the biblical revelations that Jesus is coming in the clouds in the sky. And NASA has a plan to tell everyone that an asteroid's coming, and then basically an alien ship is going to come in and push the asteroid away, and everyone's going to want world peace and have a one world government. I mean, that is a real plot, man. There was, as Von Braun was dying, he told this blonde lady that this big plan that they got, just like the Aaron Russo with the Nicholas Rockefeller. I mean, it's deep like that, man, what's going on right now. And supposedly there are super soldiers out there who have been augmented with technologies. And we don't know. Microchips, bionic arms, genetic, maybe alterations. Yeah, and you know what steroids do to people? I mean, just, mix some steroids and some speed. And, I mean, just that will turn someone into a raw dog killer with the right training. But when you think you can, like, imagine we got a big syringe, right, and it's got this liquid metal in it, and you stab someone in the brain and squirt it all in, and it's little particles. Once they get in there, you hit it with the beam from the Wi-Fi, and all of a sudden you're logged on to all your accounts, and before you know it, these things are self-replicating. They get in your brain, they embed themselves all throughout your bodies like little pulse, just like all the sensors and the Terminator grid is in our neighborhood with all these towers. Everywhere you go, you'll be pinging because it's already in you. But I mean, in a way, chemtrails are already doing that slower, but not to say that some people ain't actually been injected with the black goo. And in a sense, they are iron now. They're not clay anymore. They're not of the earth, and they're not going to turn to dust. Basically, when they die, it'll be a big rusty pile of metal bones. And well, even that will go back to the earth, but it's not the same thing, basically. And it says they will not cleave, so at some point there will be an awakening that these things are amongst us. The clones, the augmented, the cybernetics, the pod people in a way. And, like basically, and they live is a good analogy as well to this right here. Or like, like the Virtuosity, they could be just printed, carbon printed or something, man. They could just be an algorithm of a computer, and it's just nanoparticles, basically giving you the image of whatever that computer program is really projecting. It is like a lot like the Matrix, like the agents in the Matrix. Agent Smith. So, like I said, man, these are all relevant topics. Terminatrix, A Brave New 1984, World War, Z, basically, because that's another thing. What can these Morgellons and nanoparticles do? There's been a lot of zombie attacks where people get naked and jump in cars. There is also people getting naked and jumping out of the World Trade Center the day 9/11 happened. You know what I'm saying? It's just things that make you go,